Hi, Rob Howard here from EFL Talks, and today we're in Buenos Aires with Romina Cariati, and Romina is brand new EFL talker, and we welcome her. And Romina, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you, Rob. Thank you for inviting me.
And I'll let you take it away without further ado, okay?
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, hello everybody. My name is Romina Cariati. I'm in Buenos Aires, as Rob said. I'm a teacher of English, and I also have a degree in education. I have been working a lot, as many of you, in primary school, university level, secondary school. And I'm going to talk about making thinking visible in the bilingual classroom today. So when I was started thinking about the topic, I started thinking about whether we're healthy people or not, and what we do to have a healthy lifestyle. So I said, okay, are we eating what we should eat? Are we eating the correct nutrients? Are we having a good diet? Do we make healthy food choices? Do we exercise? And I said, yes, well, most of us do, or at least we try, okay? But I was thinking about the classroom, and then I said, are we healthy thinkers? Do we use all the strategies we need to think properly? And by saying properly, I mean solving problems, making comparisons and contrasts. Are we doing that or not? So this was something that caught my attention. And I thought, well, we should have healthy thinkers at school, and we should help our students develop those thinking skills. So this should be something in order to improve the quality of a student's thinking in the class. Why? Well, because we are living in a multicultural world. As you can see, we are gathering from many parts of the world. We are together here with EFL Talks, talking about education in this case. We use technology all the time to communicate. Technology is advancing. We can see that together. The world is changing. And as David Perkins says, we are teaching for the unknown. So if we don't know what happens, what can we do? Is content enough? But of course, it is not. We have to help our students to develop thinking skills so they can be successful in the future, successful citizens. So they can have a critical judgment and be creative in order to live. I mean, not only to solve problems, but to live and be happy. So, can we do that as teachers? Of course we can. We are not only language teachers, we are educators. So what we need to do, really, is to have cultures of thinking at school. Why? Because the future is there, and we are part of it today. We need to help our students enjoy lessons. How? If they understand what they are doing, if they see the reason, if we make that reason, that objective explicit, they know what we are doing. They know why, they know the reason, so they get engaged. They will be more motivated to do it. And that's the reason for everything. It's not just when we're teaching English, but when we're teaching mathematics or geography or history in this language or any other language. If we are there for them, if they know what they are doing, if they understand, well, things are different. So we are like models, but not models for the language, but also models for thinking. So I was not the only one thinking about that, of course, but also scholars at Harvard University. And this is the project, Project Zero, the project that they saw that if we can understand what our students think, if we can make that visible, then it'll be easier. So they came up with this project called Project Zero, Making Thinking Visible, in order for us teachers know what our students think. And they came up with some core practices with this scheme, as you can see in the presentation. So the idea was to combine both things, content with thinking. So, okay, we can do both things two things at the same time. They can learn, but they can also think, and it is feasible. But how can we do that? That's what they thought. Well, they came up with this thinking routine that I'm going to explain a bit later. Now, thinking routines are tools that help us make thinking visible, and through using them in the classroom and then document them, our students can see their processes of thought. And it is, how can we say it? They can understand and they can see what they are thinking. So this is a process of metacognition that we are enabling them to see and to have in the classroom. And if we connect that to our own professional practice, if we reflect on the things we do in the classroom, the opportunities we give our students, the expectations we have for them, if we can be models for language, models for thinking, if we listen to them, if we have all that together, then this is part of what it is called culture forces, what I mentioned before, these cultures of thinking. So if we have them present in the classroom, then cultures of thinking will be built in the school, university, or everywhere we're teaching. Now, why? Because we need to get to an ultimate goal, which is making our students develop their thinking dispositions. That means the abilities, the skills, and the awareness that it comes when we think. And these dispositions, these positive attitudes towards thinking. So we can do that, as you can see, through the use of thinking routines. This is one of the tools. Thinking routines are tools, as the word says, to promote thinking. So it helps us with a series of very easy steps that I will show later. It helps us see how our students are thinking and make it visible. Now, with the repetitive use, they become shared scripts in the classroom. So everybody's talking the same language. And of course, it gives our students independence and they become more autonomous. So these tools are very important to be used regularly. So it becomes a habit and a routine, as the word says, a routine for thinking. And you will see in some examples that we can do that with every content, not only English. I brought two examples for you today. One of these, now you will see in a minute because the slide here, it was uploading, is the thinking routine. I see, I think, I wonder. Now, this routine is used to make careful observations and to have interpretations, to be able to build interpretations on evidence. But if we are in the classroom, it also stimulates curiosity. And then it gives us back a playground for more questions we want to ask. So you see this picture, and actually you don't see it, but I tell you it was the cover of a book about penguins that third formers were going to read with the teacher. So the teacher asked, what do you see? And the students write or tell ideas of what do you see. We need to help our students understand that this should be objective. They need to know what you see. We cannot write just what we think or what we guess. So our students start making and seeing this difference. Then they have to tell us what they think about they see, and here it is when they start having great ideas and making interpretations about the pictures they saw. And finally, what does it make them wonder? So what questions come after everything they have seen and thought? This is great when you're going to start with a new story, for example, and you want them to get hooked by it, among other things, right? Another thinking routine that you can use and start using in the classroom is think, puzzle, and explore. This routine is great to activate prior knowledge. That means our students to connect to what they already know. As you know, this is how we build our understanding. So when our students can think about the content and they can start making themselves questions, they could be questions for investigation, then you, of course, make them plan and wonder and get curious again. So the questions, in this case, this was done with fourth formers, and as you can see, the topic was science, natural disasters. So our students were asked, okay, what do you think about that? So maybe they could connect that to movies they saw or what they knew about in science or geography. Or you can do that with pictures or a video clip or whatever you want to do according to the subject you're teaching. Then what questions, doubts, or puzzles do you have about it? And finally, how you would like to explore this topic or what can you do to learn more about it? This was great because it leads to a lot of discussion and debate, and students love it. They get very, very happy and hooked when they are going to work with activities this way. So what are we doing here? I mean, that's the big question. Are we making thinking visible? Of course, because we can see different thinking moves. We can see, what they think, what they can reason with evidence because there is an image or there is a topic. They can make connections. They can use their prior knowledge. They can advance their learning when they start wondering or making questions in order to investigate. So these thinking routines show us the thinking moves our students are making in their heads, but also we are learning and they are learning. I mean, we because we learn all the time, but they are learning and they are constructing understanding. So thinking routines are important because we can see this, but also as teachers, we can do other things. We can interact in other ways. As you can see here, we can model ideas, we can facilitate and clarify thinking, we can listen, all through working with thinking routines. So as I like saying, this was just a graph. You can see a glimpse of what this is. But after reading a lot, I always like this phrase, this quote from Ron Richards, one of the founders of this movement, that gives me the energy to keep on going, which says, a culture of thinking produces the feelings, energy, and even joy that can propel learning forward and motivate us to do what at times can be hard and challenging mental work. So I invite you to try this, to start investigating, to start working this out with your students. And please, if you have any doubts, you can send an email to me. Thank you so much for watching.